Hi everybody, May is Melanoma Awareness Month, and seeing as I've had malignant melanoma 5 times now, I thought that I was fairly well qualified to make a little video about awareness. So I was diagnosed back in 2015. It was quite an innocuous looking mole right here on my abdomen. It was right next to a scar that I had from Crohn's disease. And it was a fairly new mole. I mean, I'm covered in moles, but this was a fairly new mole, and it was a little bit bigger than the rest. It looked, as we call it, an ugly duckling. It just looked a bit different. The borders were a bit raggedy. It had several different shades of brown colour-wise, and it was a bit itchy, and it just didn't seem right to me. So I was at the GP surgery about something else and asked about this mole, and the GP that was on at the time that I saw didn't really think it was anything. And that was it, and I didn't think any more about it until several months later. I think she might have been on a training course or something, but she wrote to me and she said, on reflection, which is what we all do, healthcare professionals, on reflection, I think it would be best to see you again in clinic about that mole. So I went back in to see her. She referred me to the RVI dermatology. I went the following week. They cut it out there and then, so they took the whole mole out. And then they made an appointment for me 1 week later. I went on my own. I didn't really think much of it, to be honest. Yeah, I just didn't, having cancer didn't really enter my stratosphere of thinking really. So anyhow, rocked up at the appointment and kind of knew something was up straight away because the doctor was there and 2 nurses, and I'm thinking it's a bit weird for a results appointment. And yeah, was diagnosed with malignant melanoma, which was pretty brutal, and I can still cry about it now. And my life very much changed from there, to be fair. So first things first, I need to say this as well. I'm sure they didn't mean it, but a few members of my own family actually, and some friends patronised the cancer somewhat, quite a lot actually, and I'm sure they thought they were helping, but I promise you they weren't. At the time, by saying, oh, how's your little moles, you know, how's your skin doing? Firstly, they're not moles. If it's malignant melanoma, it's a tumour, and it's not just skin cancer. Skin is the largest organ of your body. So if you've got a cancer that's buried itself in your skin, that has the ability and the power to spread right the way through your body in record time. It's not just skin cancer, is it? So yes, my hair wasn't falling out. No, I didn't have chemotherapy, and I looked really fit and well, but believe you me, I had cancer just as anybody else had. So I decided from then it needed quite a bit of respect really. Became very vigilant in terms of looking at my own skin. I am sadly quite unlucky in terms of that I've got a genetic predisposition because I have melanoma on both sides of my family. So my maternal grandmother died of it. Started off with a tiny little mole just underneath where our glasses used to sit, and then she was riddled. And I also have a cousin on my mother's side of the family that has melanoma as well. So the other thing I wanted to talk about though is what we can try and do to prevent cancer. And this is a bit of a grey area, sadly. I wished it wasn't, but it's a bit of a grey area, and it's hard to talk about because I feel that the last thing you need as a cancer patient is to think that you are responsible for your cancer. Because let's be honest, there are so many people out there that are abusing their bodies and inviting carcinogens into their life and don't get cancer. And then you have people that are fairly good at looking after themselves. I mean, my business is called Wellness Therapeutics, for goodness sake, you know, so I like to think I exercise well, you know, I think well, I meditate, I eat well, I do things in moderation, I don't smoke. But here I am, and I've had it 5 times. So maybe I couldn't have prevented my cancer. I certainly didn't use sunbeds. I've never sunburnt. I have always loved the sun though, blonde hair, blue eyes. I've always used sun protection, however. So maybe just everything was destined for me to have it and have it time and time again. But I don't want people to feel that if they have cancer, that somehow they are responsible for their cancer. Yes, we can all do things to try and minimise our risk. However, sometimes, I hate to say, but shit really does just happen. And I listened to an Audible book by Chris Hallinger the lady that set up the Copperfield breast cancer charity, and she was diagnosed with stage 4, I guess incurable cancer quite some time ago now, well over 10 years. And she's written a book called Glitter in a Turd, which is great. And she's touched on this in her book because she's one of a twin. And she's kind of queried, you know, how did she get it and her twin didn't? And their lives were very different. You know, she had a lot more stress, she had a bit of trauma going on, her sister seemed to deal with things differently. Did that have something to do with her getting cancer and her twin not having cancer? I don't know, who knows? I mean, yes, I look after myself, but I've had an awful lot of shit in my life. A lot of trauma, you know, my dad dying at 9, various bits of problems with my own health, my mother's Alzheimer's, abusive relationships, my goodness, the list goes on. So yes, maybe they have contributed to me being somebody who's had cancer 5 times, I don't know. But what I will say is there are things that you can do to try and minimise your risk, the same things that I do to try and minimise my risk of it coming back. And that is being really vigilant with your skin. So if you notice a mole that has changed or becomes itchy or just looks a bit different to the rest or is brand new and kind of grows quite rapidly, then get it checked out. I check my skin every week. I check my lymph nodes every week as well, Sunday lymph day. I'm not neurotic as I was. I mean, I'm very well looked after by the RVI, which is great. But yeah, check your skin. Don't get sunburnt. It's not cool, literally. It's not good. It's not kind to your skin. Ultimately, what's happening is you are destroying the DNA in your skin, and that can sometimes have a cellular change which can morph itself into skin cancer, whether that be melanoma, squamous cell, or basal cell carcinoma. Melanoma is quite aggressive, sadly. I mean, there's a lot less people dying of it now, which is great, but it can be quite a nasty cancer. And one of the symbols for melanoma is actually the dandelion seed, you know, like the fluffy thing. Because when you blow that, all of the seeds can just go anywhere. And with melanoma, you get a wide local excision when you have a melanoma, and they take the whole area out. Sometimes they take lymph as well. But sometimes little bits of melanoma can float off into other parts of your body and reappear, sometimes years and years later. So it is very, very sensible to be vigilant. Any lumps, bumps, anything that's changed, anything that's new, then get it checked out. The other thing as well is try not to use sunbeds. I mean, personally, I don't even think they should be a thing. They should be banned entirely. It's just not good, and we know that the statistics are much, much higher for those that use sunbeds, so just don't use them. Broad spectrum SPF every day. So, I mean, I still change colour. You know, I'd say I've probably got a bit of a tan now. It's fake on my face, but the rest of my body I've probably got a bit of a tan. I do still spend a lot of time outside. I don't want to change my lifestyle so drastically that I don't enjoy my life anymore, and we've always been outdoorsy as a family, so I don't ever want to change that. But I use sun cream every single day. It's just like a body lotion to me now. And I was pretty good at using it anyhow, but I'll be honest, I didn't use it every day, especially on days when it's a bit cloudy. But just fling it on. Yeah, you can get stuff that doesn't even smell, that just absorbs into the skin. I personally use a brand called Altruist. Doesn't have any fragrance, developed by a dermatologist who has a lot of experience in melanoma. It's cheap as chips on Amazon. So yeah, just do it and get into the habit of doing that. Also, if anybody's got any scars, have a look at this one here. I mean, that's a melanoma that was on my head. Quite a big scar. I mean, it looked horrific at the time, but I don't even notice it now. And I use a product, actually I've got it here, called Skin Food. I don't get paid by Willida, by the way, I wish I did. But this is brilliant, and it's got a lovely smell, it's got a great texture, and it's really, really good for helping the skin to reconfigure itself, really. So if you've got a wound, as soon as it's closed up and you're able to start using product, I would personally use Willida Skin Food. I've used that on all of my scars, and I think I've had, well, I stopped counting surgeries at 39, I think, but I've had way more than that. So I think I've had, altogether with wide local excisions, biopsies, blah, 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 I think I've probably had well over 50. I'm still here, I'm still kicking, and I'm determined to keep going, but I don't want anybody else to be in my situation, because I live with it every day. I live with the fear. I live with the fear of not being around for my child. that's not a good place to be in your head sometimes. So I have a lot to work through, and I do the best that I possibly can, but it's shit. I'm almost just waiting for it to come back sometimes. So please be vigilant, please look after your skin, any lumps, bumps, any moles that look a bit peculiar, just get it checked out, yeah. And if you're still not happy and your GP thinks it's okay, get a second opinion maybe. So yes, that's it. Thank you very much for watching. Sorry I've blathered on for over 10 minutes, but I hope it helps. Take good care, bye.